Klint Kubiak is the new coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. I like the hire. He was quoted yesterday saying, hey, I got to watch a lot of tape to determine who's going to be the number one pick. Klint, I've seen the tape. Draft Fernando Mendoza. What is happening over the last 48 hours on people I am talking to in the NFL is crazy. I'm getting real pushback on Fernando Mendoza as an A quarterback prospect. The last time I got this much pushback on a quarterback I loved, and a lot of people in the league were a little cool on him, maybe you've heard of him, Sam Darnold. Usually I agree with people. I always call on people. But the majority opinion I am hearing in the league is he is a good prospect, but Indiana football is about Curt Cignetti. What a crock that is. And I like Curt Cignetti. Indiana loses 3 games this year, minimum, without Fernando Mendoza. Miami, Ohio State, and Penn State. Not winning those games. And I would argue maybe 5 losses. They trailed Iowa in the 4th and were tied with Oregon at Autzen in the 4th. Maybe they win those, maybe they don't. But you could have had 5 losses without Mendoza. And a lot of Indiana fans, and by the way, Indiana football fan, you've mattered for 20 minutes. Lose the arrogance. You're not Oklahoma. You're not Ohio State. You're not Notre Dame. You're Indiana. You're a basketball school with a couple rich boosters. I didn't buy you last year. I called you a fraud because you had the number 2 scoring offense in the country, and you built it up against a bunch of, Panera Breads in the out of conference. Last year, they hung, this is pre-Mendoza, Indiana hung 77 on Western Illinois, 52 on something called Charlotte, and 66 on Perdon't. You averaged 53.5 points in your out-of-conference games. So you thought that was a real flex. And then you played Ohio State and had 150 yards of offense. And you played Notre Dame and you trailed 20-3 in the 4th before some garbage stats. And you played a bad Michigan team and you had 40 yards rushing. You don't matter. You had a great season and a great team. The year before, I stand by everything I said. It was fool's gold. You played a bad Michigan team. They pushed you around. You couldn't move. You couldn't run the ball. And then Fernando Mendoza arrives, and you drop, 38 on Bama and 66 on a very, very good Illinois team and 50-plus on Oregon in the playoff or whatever it was. That's a legitimate team. 16-0 is a legitimate team. So I don't want to hear about all the whiny Indiana football fans, and we got a lot of them in the Fox building. Oh, whiners. Oh, a year ago I said the truth. You crushed Western Illinois. I live in Illinois. I thought Western Illinois was Indiana. Is it a school that's on an island in the Lake Michigan? Well, what is Western Illinois? Charlotte? Well, what is that? This year, you go to Penn State. You go to Autzen. You're crushing Alabama. You're rolling people. You're beating Ohio State. You were totally legitimate. That's not Cignetti alone. If quarterback doesn't matter and it's all about Cignetti, then Curt Cignetti is the only coach in the history of football, AFL, NFL, college football, Division I through Division 13, where quarterback really doesn't have that much of an impact. Yeah, I'm going to say it does. And I thought last year, a lot of that stuff last year with Indiana was cotton candy scheduling. When they faced the big boys, it was like, yeah, that Notre Dame game, they're punting in their own territory. They're punting it like what are they punting, like the Notre Dame 45 or something? You're like, yeah, give me a break. You guys have, everybody's got amnesia. This year's Indiana, yikes. They were legit. But like any team, they were very reliant on a great quarterback. And I am getting so much pushback on Fernando Mendoza, and I don't get it. Big, accurate moves, humble, gratitude. I don't get it. I watched them at Penn State. I watched them against Ohio State. I watched them against Miami's defense. He's unbelievable. And nobody loves him. Everybody likes him. My guy Todd McShay said this yesterday on the show.
Talent is talent, right? And I really like Fernando Mendoza. He's tall, he's 6'5", 220. He's got mobility for his size. He's got a lot of energy on the ball, and he's smart. but he's not, if we're talking physically, he's not some of the guys we've seen in the last few drafts. He's not Caleb. He's not Jaden. He's not Drake. He's not even Cam Ward. So there's that to unpack.
I like Cam Ward. Fernando Mendoza is not a better prospect than Cam Ward? I'm telling you, I don't understand. What's the Will Ferrell line? You people are taking crazy pills. I'm not saying he's Andrew Luck. I'm not saying he's John Elway. I'm not saying he has the horsepower of Caleb. I'm not saying as a prospect he's Josh Allen, who Mel Kiper called a top 10 prospect ever. I'm not saying that. But Kurt Cignetti's great. Kurt Cignetti had a BB gun offense the year before Mendoza arrived. It was a water pistol. I mean, they were dominating, directional schools. This year, they were kicking Alabama's butt. Okay? Yeah, the NIL got them a few more good players, no question. A couple edge rushers. One was hurt, though. Got hurt. But folks, go look at Belichick without Brady. Every coach in the history of football. Go look at Bruce Arians when he had Brady and when he had Carson Palmer. And then look at Bruce Arians when he didn't. And Bruce Arians a great coach. Every coach is driven by their quarterback play. Andy Reid's unbelievable. He's way better with Mahomes. Okay, so that just throws me for a loop. I get off the phone the last 2 days, and I'm like, man, I like this guy way more than everybody else. There's so much I like about him. Okay. You get me worked up on this stuff. The draft isn't even until April, and I'm going nuts over here. Maybe it's the coffee. Okay.